Until a lion tells his story, the hunter will always be the superhero. And Pamela Phiri said in her book, for every wound, there is a scar. And every scar tells an excruciating story. A story that says, I survived. A story that says, you are a survivor. I have with me the author of No Man is Worth My Tears, Breaking Free. She is a phenomenal woman. She's a counselor, a pastor, a mother, a wife, and a survivor of domestic violence. Pamela Phiri, welcome to my podcast.
Hi, Mulisa. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you acknowledging me. Thank you so much.
I'm very inspired by you. It is not easy to write a book. I hope it was. It's not very easy to write, let alone writing your own story, writing your painful story. What made you to write this book?
Well, what really inspired me to write this book is I had been receiving a lot of married women coming to me and asking for advice or counseling, and most of their issues were related to gender-based violence, more or less the same as what I experienced. And so I decided I'm going to advocate for other women. But in my advocating, I wanted it to be in a book form. I wanted to write my book and share my story and maybe help someone out there who's probably going through the same, because I believe a lot of women are too numb to speak out. Most of the women, you find them putting on the red lipstick, they put on a facade, and you think all is well, but deep down in their hearts, they're hurting.
Okay. So other people inspired you to come to a point of writing
Yes.
this book.
And also my husband also
Okay.
inspired me, because he actually said to me, I think you need to share your story. And I was also wondering, how am I going to share my story? And he was like, no, maybe you could write a book.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up writing this memoir.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure there was a point while writing this book where you felt like, even though this was inspired by others, but I feel like this is the right thing that I'm doing. When was that point?
I felt like it was the right thing I was doing. Personally, for me, it was gain. Not, okay, I was doing it for everyone, but at my own advantage as well, because in every chapter that I was writing, I would break down and cry. It's like I was triggered because I thought I had healed, but I only realized that they were unresolved wounds. So in my crying, it was also part of my healing. And I felt that was really a breakthrough for me. It was a winning point for me.
Okay, by the time you were writing this book, already you were a married woman, you had found,
Yes.
your lovely husband,
Yes.
and you thought, I have healed from my past.
Yeah.
But when you were writing, that's where you realized that there's still this part of
Unresolved
me,
wounds, yes.
that still need that healing.
Yeah.
Do you think writing or sharing your story helps you to heal?
Yes, well, it also differs. Sharing is good, but only with the right people. You need to differentiate which people to tell, because it's not everybody that you're going to share with that are going to understand you. Some might use it for their own advantage, and some might twist the story. So you need to know who to share and who not to share. But with me, it helped. It really helped.
Helped you heal.
Yes.
Okay, so when you were writing this book is about yourself and Mr. X, as we're gonna call him in this podcast,
Yes.
and Mr. X. So you were telling the story of what happened in the relationship,
Yes.
and I'm sure before the abuse, there is a story that you can tell.
Yes, yes, there were good times.
Okay.
There were really good times. It's not that it just started off as bad. I was that kind of girl that comes from a broken family. My parents divorced when I was very young, and I grew up in the custody of my grandparents. So I never really got to get the love of a mother and a father. I felt rejected. I felt unloved. And so hence when Mr. X came into my life professing his love, I felt this was it for me. I felt this is what I was longing for. So it's like he filled the void that I had. And I took a drastic decision to say, okay, this is the one for me. Yeah.
This is always the case. Most of the people go into marriage because they feel like there is a missing part.
Yes,
You know, there is
yes.
missing love from
Yeah.
their past, and they want to go into marriage. What is your take when it comes to that?
Well, that's not the solution. That's really
That's
not the
true.
solution,
That's
because
true.
I experienced it and it never worked out for me. What I would suggest is people need to find better ways, more especially if you don't know your identity, if you don't
You
know
need
who
to
you
know
are or
yourself.
where you want to go. That's when you end up taking these drastic measures and thinking that, okay, if somebody says to me they love me, that means that is the world for me. So I don't really believe in,
In that.
yeah.
So, in other words, one needs to first know who
No,
they are,
yes,
know
yes.
yourself
You
before you can even.
identify yourself, know
Yeah,
your value, know your worth
that's true.
before you fall into the hands of another
Of someone
person.
else.
Yes.
In the eyes of most of our friends, we were that perfect couple. Many people admired us. We were just the sweetest
Yeah.
lovebird. Is that how you felt?
Yes, exactly. That was exactly how I felt. It's every girl's dream actually,
Love is
to be
just beautiful.
loved. Yes, yes, that's exactly how I felt.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, that's beautiful. No man is worth my tears. Breaking free. How then did you choose this title? Because when I posted this book on my social medias, a lot of people were surprised to say, "How can you, the advocate of marriage, post such a book with such a title?"
Title,
And I
yeah.
understand them because this is very catching. How did you choose this title?
Okay, yeah, this title sounds really intimidating, but it is the truth. No man is worth my tears simply means the man that is worth my tears will make me cry tears of joy, not of
Yeah.
sorrow. And how I got to have that title, it was in the last days of my marriage with Mr. X, when I was hospitalized for 2 weeks. And the lady who was sleeping next to me in the same room with me, she asked me a question. She posed a question to me, which was actually a wake-up call for me. She said to me, I haven't been seeing your husband coming to see you, and he hasn't even sent flowers. So is it really worth your tears?
Okay.
So that's when I realized, okay, this man is not worth my
My
tears.
tears. All
Yes.
right. Okay.
And remember, he didn't even buy me flowers to say I
Okay.
love you. But then he was going to buy me flowers to say rest in peace. So I had to avoid that. I
Okay.
really had to avoid that.
Let's dive into this book and also into the experience that you had of abuse in the marriage. So, early tell signs, that is in chapter 3 of the book. Now, here you had a friend, and that was just a friend,
Yeah.
no strings attached,
Yeah.
but the friend was an opposite sex friend.
Yes,
And
yes.
something happened there. Tell me about that. Why?
Okay, this was a genuine friend, because he was that kind of a friend who used to inspire me and encourage me to say, you need to pursue your studies. And sometimes he'd let me know if there are any openings at his workplace, because he was a manager for a reputable hotel. So he would encourage me every now and then to say, okay, there's an opening, try and apply. So our friendship was really genuine.
Okay.
No strings attached, nothing. It was just purely genuine. But then I didn't see this coming. I received a call from him, and he started professing his love
Yeah.
to me whilst I was with Mr. X. And because I was shocked, I didn't really expect that from
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
I was really shocked, like, where is this coming from? How did we even reach here? So I think the facial expression on my face showed Mr. X that there's something not right. So he took the phone from me. He actually grabbed it away from me. And then he spoke to my friend,
Okay.
and he threatened to find him and beat him up.
Okay.
So soon after he hung up the call, he did slap me, and then he apologized
Okay.
and said, no, it's because he doesn't want me close to any other man, because he loves me so much. So yeah. So those were some of the red flags that I saw, but I chose to ignore. Because remember, I'm coming from a broken family,
that's
and
true.
I never got to get the love that I needed. So I felt, okay, he's being overprotective. he loves me.
You know, that is
Okay,
love.
just that slap is nothing, so I overlooked that.
True.
Yes.
So friendship in marriage, actually friendship of opposite sex
Yeah.
in marriage. Many a times we become friends with opposite sex, but with no strength attached.
Yeah.
What's your take when it comes to that kind of friendship in marriage?
I would say if you are single, it's okay.
Okay.
But when you are married, it's a bit tricky because sometimes you share your feelings.
Yes.
And you need a shoulder to lean
That's
on.
true.
So it will turn out to be something else. So I wouldn't
Most
really
cases.
advise it. I wouldn't really advise it. Because in most instances, in most cases, it will end up not good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the more you
Share,
your
yes.
emotional part,
You get
the more
closer,
you get attached to that person,
yes.
then they can think otherwise.
Yeah, yeah.
With us ladies, we will not be able to say it.
Yes.
But with men,
Men,
they will be able to,
you know.
want to try. They will see that there's something in here.
Yeah.
Okay. So the slapping was happening. Actually, all these things was happening before you got married.
Married, yes.
Already there is abuse, but you're not married.
Yes.
But in chapter 4, it was moving in together.
Yes.
And by the sound of it, you're very excited. You're very happy to be moving in with Mr. X. By then, you're already pregnant. So tell me about that.
Okay, it's every girl's dream
True.
to get married,
Yeah.
and have a good marriage. And that's exactly how I envisioned my marriage with Mr. X. I was hoping for the best. I wanted to be that suitable helper, as the Bible says.
yes.
That's exactly what I envisioned, that I'm going to be that suitable helper. I'm going to be that loving wife,
Yeah.
and yeah.
It is supported by what you have said in page number 34. You said, in fact, I stood by him through thick and thin and kept encouraging him to keep going because nothing good comes on a silver platter.
Yes.
So you have a supportive wife to the
Yes,
husband.
yes.
You were there in full
Full
force.
force, yes.
Do you think being a perfect wife, a very supportive wife, can, at least help you to not be abused in marriage? Do you think that can?
Not really, not really. You can be that perfect wife, that humble wife, submissive wife, but if a person is still abusive, that doesn't change them. In most cases, you find out that if the man is being abusive, it means he has childhood traumas. Most of the time, it's the background that affects. Maybe he grew up seeing his parents fighting, and he now thinks it's normal. So he then takes it into his marriage and does exactly what was happening. So I don't think being a loyal wife or a submissive woman will change him. If he really wants to change, then he should take up counseling,
Yeah, that's
seek
true.
help. Yes.
So people go through a
A
lot.
lot,
you know.
yes.
As a lady, I'll be coming in because I want to close that void that is in me. With him, maybe there was abuse in the marriage that the parents had, and he will
yes.
want to come and abuse you in the marriage. Do you think it is important? I feel it's very important for people to go through counseling, premarital
Yes,
marital
yes.
counseling, and also attending marriage seminars like Couples Connect,
Yes.
in order to be able to resolve some of the problems. Do you think that is important?
Yes, premarital counseling, I would really advise it before you enter marriage. You need to do premarital counseling.
Okay.
Because with premarital counseling, there are so many sessions. You'll find out that is where you get to know each other. Because remember, when you are dating, you are portraying an image that you are not.
That's
because
true.
you're trying
That's
to
true.
impress your girlfriend or your boyfriend. But in premarital counseling, that's when you get to see the reality. Because they talk about finances. How are we going to handle our finances? Is it your money is your money, or my money is our money? So you talk about also black tax, because remember, we are all coming from backgrounds where we have people that we support. So you need to agree, are we going to continue taking care of our people from back home? And you need to also talk about the in-laws. How are we going to take care of our parents? There's a lot of things that you need to talk about when you do premarital counseling, and that's when you really see a clear picture of what you should expect.
And that is what you are doing right now. You do
Yes,
counseling.
yes.
Is it also for premarital and also those that are married? What kind of counseling do you do?
We do premarital counseling for those that are preparing into marriage. We do marriage counseling for those that are already in marriage. We also do grief counseling, those that are stressed, those that are depressed. We do, it's an all-rounder. We do basically any type of counseling.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think, do you see it helping, especially with married people?
Yes, it does. If both parties are willing,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get one person that's willing and the other one is not willing. But if both parties come together, there is a breakthrough. There is light at the end of every tunnel.
That's true.
Yeah.
This table turned around. This is in chapter 5.
Yes.
Now you have moved in, you have your cutie, a
Yes.
bundle of joy, and you have settled with the love of your life. You have a shop at this stage, you started a business, and everything seems to be going all right. So there's this other day where you said you went to the shop and you asked for money, and the abuse again showed up.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
That was just another encounter.
Okay.
Because when I moved in with Mr. X, Mr. X was working for a reputable company, and then he shared his vision with me, and I saw potential in his vision.
That's true.
So he quit his job, and then we started this business. But how we started this business was through money from my mom. I had to ask money from my mom, and I was really a disappointment to my mom because she wanted me to relocate and go and study in the UK. But I told her, no, this is what I want. And okay, being a mother, she just had to support what I had in mind. So she gave me money. My mom gave me money, and I gave it to Mr. X without removing anything. I gave it all to him because I saw potential in the vision of
That's
the business.
true.
So we started a cell phone company, and we bought all equipment that was needed and everything, and it really moved very well. So what used to happen is he would go first at work and I would remain at home, do the household chores, and then later go and join him. So that very particular day I went and it wasn't really busy, so I thought there was no use for me to sit around. So I decided, okay, why not do my household errands? And there were a few sundries that I needed for the house. Okay. So I went and asked Mr. X if he could give me money, and he asked me what was the money for.
Okay.
So I said to him, okay, I want to buy porridge for the baby. And then he gave me the money. Okay. So I went and did my errands and I went back home. So little did I know, he came back home in the evening. He was very pissed off.
Okay.
And he said to me, I embarrassed him in front of his workers. So I was wondering, how did I embarrass him? Because when I asked for the money, I wasn't specific what it was for. Only when he asked me, what do you want the money for? That's when I specified exactly what I wanted for. So I got my first beating for asking money.
Okay. All right.
And I had a blue eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Mr. X loved beating.
Yes.
Let's talk about resolving issues in marriage. You know, do you think beating is the right way to solve problems?
No, not at all. Not at all. Beating someone without hearing them out is not the solution. I believe God gave us mouth, and we need to use it for communication. So it's always good to sit down and ask, okay, why did you do this? And then hear the side of my story and maybe advise me going forward, let's do things this way so that I know this I shouldn't do, this I should do. But now if you just come and hit me, how am I supposed to know?
It doesn't say anything.
Yes, and besides, you know, for me, I found it very silly, like you hitting me because I asked money to buy your own daughter's porridge. I mean, really?
And I understand that you did not go for premarital counseling.
No.
But
it was just a hit and run. There was no premarital counseling
there
on
was
that.
nothing
No,
like that.
no.
And then did you get support point talk about finances in your own marriage? How was finances in your marriage actually?
Okay, we never sat down and talked about finances.
Okay.
All the money that was coming in, it was just handled by Mr. X.
Okay.
I would get whatever I want for the house. We never discussed what is the income and what is the expenditure.
Okay.
There was nothing like that. So that was also what can I say, a disadvantage to the marriage, because there was never a point where we'd sit down as a couple and plan together to say, okay, this is what we have made, this is what we are going to do with the money, this is what we're investing in. There was nothing like that. So basically it was being controlled by one person.
Okay, and obviously, if we don't talk about our finances, I will not know how much you have. So when I
Yes.
go and ask, yeah, it will be an offense.
Yes.
Because I'm coming to you, I don't know how
No,
much you
much
have,
you have.
but there is a need. So if we had to sit down and
down.
talk about what we have, I
Yes.
will also know when to come
Yes.
for money. Thank you so much, family, for watching my channel. And please, 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 please subscribe to this channel so that you are able to get notification on the new podcast that we are still going to bring to you. And you will be inspired. We will keep empowering you. Thank you.